Hello everybody, this is 44 Politics here again with another video. Before I get started, please feel free to like and subscribe. Okay, now on to the video. So guys, like a donkey running up to break your skull open, sorry about the kind of gory reference, the election is coming up. And probably the most important election besides the presidential election, of course, and probably the most close election overall is the United States Senate election. So, a lot of interesting polls have been released very recently, today and yesterday, which show a very interesting story. So I'm going to start going over some of these polls. Okay, number one, B- poll from Ipsos. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it shows, what's the word? Mark Kelly beating Martha McSally by 11%. 11%. It's a pretty big deal. Overall, it's a decently rated pollster. This could show this can show a very promising victory for Mark Kelly as well as a promising victory for Joe Biden in the general election. So I've been rating Arizona as pretty much lean this entire time. I never really thought it'd been likely, despite the fact that multiple pollsters have rated it as likely. But still, this might even change my viewing. He has been winning more and more by 5-6%, even higher than that. So yes, I believe that it could be very good for the Democrats. Number two, A+ poll from North Carolina. This is, again, North Carolina. Cal Cunningham had a huge scandal, and I've gotten multiple comments just saying that Cal Cunningham's going to lose. I'm not going to vote for him, or I wouldn't vote for him. And this A+ poll has shown him ahead by 4%. And this is well after the scandal. I believe that it shows that Cal Cunningham is still going to win and that the scandal did not have a big effect on him. If you look back, polls still show him ahead. There hasn't been a poll showing him again losing in a while. He's had another poll. So yeah, overall, definitely winning. You can still see him ahead by 6 in this poll. So yeah. Number three. This is probably the most important poll of these all. This is yet another poll showing Ralph Warnock, it's an A+ poll, ahead by 4%. And this is very important. It also shows Kelly Loeffler is behind him, and then Doug Collins. This is very great for the Democrats and for their election, because with this, if I quickly fill out this map, you can see that, sorry, let me fill this out first. You can see that it gives them a decent majority if you add in all these factors. Let's see, Carolina, and there we go, and this and there. That's 52 seats, and while he might not win the runoff, he still is beating where is it? Let me find it. Doug Collins by 12%, and there's been multiple polls showing him beating Doug Collins and Kelly Loeffler in head-to-head matchups. 12% for Collins, 8% for Loeffler. The last poll showed him ahead by 10% with Kelly Loeffler. Very strong. And he will also be helped by the fact that Jon Ossoff winning by 6% in this poll, while he's losing by 3% in another poll and has been losing in a lot of polls, he is still doing very well, and a lot of them are in the margin of error. That race, I gotta say, it's a pure toss-up. That's all I can describe it as. But we also see, what are the other polls? 19%, 41. He's at 41%. Doug Collins takes second place in this poll. Another one where he's ahead by 8%. Another one with Jon Ossoff ahead by 1%. Yeah, as you can see, definitely very close. And more and more polls have been showing this. If I go to Georgia, which I will do right now, you will see a lot more polls where Ralph Warnock is on top, and I don't think there have been nearly as many polls with Kelly Loeffler and Doug Collins on top as Warnock in these past few days. Here are the last polls I was speaking of. 5 for Collins, 10 for Loeffler. And now Ralph Warnock was beating 51% or 50%, so that means he had a plurality. It's very good for him. Okay, next polls. I discussed the Georgia Senate race. If that race goes Democratic, that's 53 seats for the Democratic Party. Before, they only winning 50, 51, but now 53. They don't even need any of the swing states, such as Alaska, Kansas, South Carolina, Kentucky, Montana, all those other places. They don't need them. They have 53. It's a pretty strong majority. Okay, let's see where the other polls are. Harrison. Jamie Harrison in South Carolina is doing very, very well, especially for such a Republican state. While another poll was released showing Lindsey Graham ahead by 6%, this place is closer than it should be. I'm going to add a too close to call. Too close to call. Make it purple. Go. Too close to call. I would call South Carolina and Georgia too close to call because the race is closer than it should be, number one. Number two, the one of the candidates has been winning polls, so Jon Ossoff and Jamie Harrison. So they aren't, just closing them in. It's closer than it should be. A lot of them are tied, most of them in the margin of error, but the Democrat has actually won polls. So that, against the incumbent. Okay, what's next? Yes. Gigi Kane ahead by 14. Closer than it should be, I would say. Yes, Montana, the state that I thought would decide the election pretty soon, not too long ago, now is pretty much irrelevant. But as you can see in these later polls, which I will I'll go to just Montana so we can get all the clutter out of the way. Let's see why that isn't working. Montana, Steve Bullock ahead by 2% in another poll, and my computer has decided to stop working on me for some reason. That's weird. There we go. There's another one even poll, one ahead by Steve Bullock ahead by 2, one ahead by 1. Though there is a very big poll where it's ahead by there's a poll, A- poll, where Steve Daines is ahead by 9%. This does not bode well for the Democrats in the state, as I'm sorry guys, my computer is not going up and down and such. I would say that poll, since it's not in the margin of error, does put Steve Daines ahead, so I'd probably rate it, if anything, as Republican, but lean. Really, I think it's a too close to call. It's the third state that's too close to call, which should be a pretty Republican state. Two states are obviously Republican, but still going for doing very well for Democrats, and another is a swing state where a Democrat is against an incumbent doing very, very well. Okay, heading back to all. These are most of the polls. Let's see. Cal Cunningham ahead by 6. John Hickenlooper ahead by 11. That is pretty much why I'm rating it as a likely state instead of a lean. Very, very big deal, I must say. Gigi Kane safe. Gary Peters ahead by 6%. That, I've been rating this as, it's been getting closer and closer to me, but honestly, I think that Gary Peters is expanding his lead again, and he will win in the end. Let's see. Teresa Greenfield ahead by 4%. Sarah Gideon ahead by 7%. If these polls are correct, I would be lane, but my main be likely. Don't believe that's the case, despite the fact that Sarah Gideon is doing very, very well against Suzanne Collins. She still will not win it. I think it'll still be close, honestly. And I think a lot of the rural voters and more independent voters that make Maine more closer will maybe turn out for Suzanne Collins. But we'll have to see on Election Day. Okay, I'm going to fill out the Republican states. So, Republican states, Mississippi and Alabama. Alabama is likely because I think a lot of people have given up hope for Doug Jones. I'll go to Kansas. There haven't been as many new polls from there, but they show a very interesting story. Barbara Bollier headed by 2, headed by 4. Marshall headed by 4, 7. It's closer than it should be. You have an A+ poll showing it in the margin of error. I'd call this a too close to call. After a very, very bitter primary fight against Chris Kobach, Roger Marshall may not be able to, he has to raise a lot of money to go against Barbara Bollier, who is doing better, very well. She was a Republican, and I think her goal is to appeal to the moderate Democrats, or moderate, just independent, moderate voters. Joe Biden is, Donald Trump is ahead in Kansas only by a likely margin. It's closer than it should be. It isn't safe, it's likely. That is definitely a very, very interesting, what's the word? I can't think about it. Yeah, it's very, very interesting for the state, which should be safe. And, Roger Marshall has, I think Barbara Bollier is trying to portray Roger Marshall as someone who is, radical GOP, not super, there have been times when he was not wearing a mask, shaking hands, trying to pin him to the people who didn't like Chris Kobach and elected Laura Kelly over him. So yeah, I think Kansas is probably Republican, but Barbara Bollier has a chance. Gonna go over to Texas now. Great state of Texas. John Cornyn ahead by 9. Honestly, I have to say, while it is close in a few polls, it's not nearly like 2018. If I scroll all the way down to 2018, you're going to see a way different story. Also, a lot of A+ polls show him ahead by a lot. You see, what's the word? You see Beto O'Rourke polling even with John Cornyn being very close, except for this one poll where he's losing by a lot. You see John Cornyn doing very well. Way back in 2018, you do see some similar polls, and some of them are very close. But you had ones by now where the Democrats should be winning. It was to be as close as the last election. And Cornyn is polling consistently better than Cruz is. And as you can see, the 12th, which was about just a few days over a year ago today, Beto O'Rourke ahead by 3. Another one was ahead by 2. Decent rated polls. And you see, by this time, it was close. There were some big differences, but it was still pretty close. And if you look at now, you see way bigger margins. So Texas, I can only rate it likely Republican. Alaska, final state I'm going to do, because it's got a nice long video here. Let's see, Alaska, Dan Sullivan ahead by 4%. Another one ahead by 1, 13. Yeah, again, it's probably too close to call state. It should be pretty solidly for Dan Sullivan, but I think Al Gross as an independent should be able to pull it off, as Lisa Murkowski has been elected there. So yeah, I think it's too close to call, but it's definitely more Republican than the others. Kentucky, there was recently a debate there, but doesn't seem like there have been many polls there. As you can see, Mitch McConnell is ahead by a likely margin. The really most interesting thing is that Amy McGrath had such a chance. You see 2 polls in the margin of error pulling even Amy McGrath even winning a poll. Then you see 20%, 4%, 22, 17, a lot bigger. And if you look at the forecast, and I'll show the forecast in a few minutes, only a 4% chance of victory. That's not good. I'm putting it as likely Republican. Okay, finally, I'm going to the national forecast of the Senate. There is currently a 14% chance where Democrats win 51 seats, 14, 13, 52, and 11, 53. Pretty small, but I think that it definitely changed. As you can see here, when Georgia Special was once rated as a likely Republican, it is now a toss-up with Ralph Warnock having the biggest chance of winning individually. While the Republicans are still combined, still have a larger margin. It's only by 2%. So it'd be 49-51. That's a toss-up. And the latest polls, I think it's definitely in Ralph Warnock's favor. Lean Republican, I agree with this right there. As you can see, Jon Ossoff is doing better. Not too good though, again. So let's see. Likely Republican, I don't agree with that. Yeah. Okay, so yes, that is the current forecast. As you can see, the Democrats' chances have been growing since as of this month, going to set from 60 to 73, about 10%. What else? Let's see. Scrolling down this. Okay, that's pretty much it. If I was to do my final forecast, I'm going to put Montana as lean Republican, Kansas as well as lean Republican, South Carolina as lean Republican as well. Wow, it's such a variety in these ratings. And Georgia, it's really hard. I think just leave that one as too close to call. Jon Ossoff could totally win, but it's a little unlikely. Yeah, so in the end, I'm going to give that one to Jon Ossoff, thinking because Biden is doing so well there. So there we go, 53-47 for the Democrats. Thank you all for watching. I have some exciting new videos planned. I'm creating a new election night, doing my own template/theme, which should be it should be pretty good. I did do some channel milestones yesterday, but not many people saw that video. But basically, the gist of it was 25 subscriber decided election night, 44 subscribers. I'll probably do maybe like live stream and maybe a fully subscriber decided election night where you guys can just go to town on predictions you want to see. 50 subscribers, I'll start doing more live streams and maybe a podcast. I don't know. I don't know. My goal, honestly, despite it's maybe out of reach, I want to get as many subscribers as possible for election night. So I want to do a live stream. I know that what's it called LTE looks like elections is not doing a live stream. So hey, if you don't want to be with him, feel free to come by. What honestly make my channel and my everything kind of worth it is 50 subscribers by election day. If we can get that done, yeah, let's go do it. So subscribe for more content, and we can do that live stream. Like the video so more people can see this, and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you agree with this, what you don't agree with. Feedback, what you think the Senate makeup will look like. What states are there some states that you think are closer than I think? Yeah, tell me in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.